Hello and welcome to the channel. This video showcases the second half of our hiking adventures at Elk Island National Park in Alberta, Canada. With spring now here, it seemed a good time to show you the park trails we took last summer and the numerous adventures we had along the way. As we explored this national park, we encountered a landscape filled with rolling hills, glassy lakes, and herds of bison, and of course chance sightings of other wildlife. Just 35 minutes east of Edmonton, Elk Island National Park promises a variety of hiking experiences with trails winding through forests of aspen and birch to meadows and wetlands. Areas explored in this video were a Misk-Wuche Trail located close to Astoten Lake and the park's main camping area. The Mud Lake Turnoff, where there's always a good chance of spotting plains bison early in the morning, and if you're lucky, some calves in the spring. Just off of Elk Island's Parkway is Moss Lake Trail, where in the wetlands we found something interesting. At Bison Loop Road, we were lucky to find a herd of plains bison in the early morning light, which made for a fantastic experience. Tuayak Lake Trail was next, and again proved to be a trail offering rich wildlife experiences. Finally, we explored Shoreline Trail, which follows the south side of Lake Astoten and is a trail known for its mixed forests and lake views. In early May, we began at a Misk-Wuche Trail, which is 2.7 kilometers, 1.5 hours, and is listed as a moderate path. The trail will take you through a variety of natural landscapes, including forested areas, wetlands, and grasslands. On certain sections of the trail are boardwalks that will take you through kettle lakes and beaver ponds, which, as we found, would offer a chance to see some aquatic life as well. Coming to our first boardwalk, we found a bit of an underwater adventure.
Oh my god, it must be leech mating season. I hope they're right.
Taking the GoPro out, I was also curious to see what was lying beneath the surface. And what we found was a lot of amphipods and caddisfly larvae, but also a great number of leeches in this pond as well. Leeches move through the water by an undulating movement, which allows these organisms to move through their environment. However, they tend to be found on the bottom substrate where there is food and shelter. Here they can also avoid direct sunlight as they're sensitive to it.
This is another one right beside him. There is another one right beside him. Yeah.
You will notice that as soon as I move near this leech, it starts seeking me out, trying to latch on. Leeches sense their prey by detecting body heat and water disturbances. They also have simple eye spots used to detect changes in light intensity. Due to this searching, I had to keep moving back as they can carry disease. I should have called this video I stuck my hand in a leech-infested beaver pond. However, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll sense that I refuse to compromise my channel for the sake of YouTube views. So, no leeches hanging off of me. Instead, I'll show you some wondrous things, such as these lesser scaup ducks. And while trying out one of my camera settings, Donna decided to play the part.
Trying bird mode for a minute.
Just for hopping around.
Coming out of the forest, we came upon another pond that this time had a few wood frogs. We also found a bloody big spider. It's called a Dolomedes spider, or commonly known as a dock spider. The hairs on its feet give it the ability to walk on water. And as for the frogs, well, they don't seem to be troubled by its presence at all.
Oh, I lost my shot. Took too long.
We thought the sound was an elk at first, but turned out to be two trees rubbing together. But I guess it would be a pretty damn sick elk if that was the case. We paused for a moment to take a few images along a forested trail before emerging out onto a wetland. These lesser scops had found a great spot to enjoy the day. However, the chosen lookout was nervously eyeing the surroundings. Coming to another boardwalk, we spotted a song sparrow and a yellow warbler in the trees. Near the trailhead, we took one last look around. In early June, we began our day by going to the Mud Lake turnoff, finding a herd of plains bison. And we found that some are still shedding their heavy coats to get ready for the upcoming hot days of summer. After that, we headed to Moss Lake Trail, opting for the shorter 4.8-kilometer route, which took us through rolling hills, aspen groves, and ponds. Spring was in full swing, and the forest wildflowers were in bloom, attracting many insects. Believing that we would not see any more beautiful sights, we came upon some butterflies. It was hard to move down the trail, but beautiful things kept showing up. As we came out onto a wetland, we discovered two redneck grebes taking care of their newly hatched chicks. The chicks will ride for roughly 2 weeks on the mother's back, which provides protection and warmth, while the male is responsible for feeding the chicks by finding small fish and crustaceans. Making sure the chick ate its food, he then washes his beak and searches for more. This time the chick does not want to accept the food. A small wash? Still no, but after a proper wash, it's accepted. No fooling this little one. Looking over at Donna, I noticed that she seemed to be uncomfortable for some reason. It turned out that a small honeybee was walking along her arm looking for salt. It was not the danger of a sting that had Donna grimacing, however. Apparently this bee had cold feet. A nice moment of communication between mother and child. This little chick decided it was time to get some swimming practice in. Continuing on, we found this raven high up in a tree surveying his territory. Near the end of the trail, we came upon a couple of plains bison resting on a hot day. Nature was all around, and we enjoyed these last few moments before arriving back at the trailhead. Spring was certainly all around us. On a July morning, we stopped at Bison Loop Road and discovered that the Plains Bison had a paparazzi. We made sure to come early this day and were rewarded by the sun creating perfect silhouettes. We could not help but look upon this scene and wonder what it was like in days long past. This bull did not seem to have the regulation bison coat, however. Two calves have become best friends. And a lone bull finds choice grass under the shade of a tree. It seems that here morning baths are preferred. With the paparazzi still in full force, we decided to move further up the road. We later stopped near the entrance where we found this lone bull.
Yeah, he's going around us.
He was heading in our direction and around the back of the vehicle, so for safety, we decided to move up.
He's starting to kind of sound a bit aggressive there. Where is he? I can't see him in my mirror.
After driving enough to put some distance between us, I suddenly realized what had been so important behind the vehicle.
He's gonna pull up here. I think we're good here.
We had parked beside his bison wallow, and judging by the look in his eyes, he was very appreciative and suddenly had a gentle look. Maybe a thank you? We learned something new that day. Be mindful of parking near their wallows. After our lesson, we made our way to Twayak Lake Trail and got ready for a 15.1 kilometer hike that took roughly 6 hours. Also known as the Number 9 Trail, it's a challenging hike, not due to the difficult terrain, but primarily because of its length. Along with wood bison, Twayak Lake Trail is certainly my favorite. The trail offers a lot of the same things as wood bison, such as large forests and wide open meadows. You also have a good chance of seeing plains bison here, and of course other wildlife. And not long into our hike, we found some fresh bison tracks, which seem to be going in the same direction.
Can I go put my hand in there with the comparisons? Oh,
And as seen, they were large.
they're quite large.
And later we may have found him, and gladly at a safe distance. With renewed confidence, we continued our hike, finding this lone wood frog hiding in the grass. And while walking in one of my favorite meadows, we found a snowshoe hare, as well as some intriguing mushrooms. Coming out into a vast open meadow, we took a minute to look around, finding a recently used bison wallow. And some American kestrel fledglings sitting out on a tree. Kestrels are a falcon species, and you'll find they are most at home in open areas. These fledglings were eagerly waiting for their parents' return with insects and other small prey.
Yeah, there's a American kestrel family. There's like 3 fledglings in the
If you
tree.
look, you can see them here.
Yeah, you can see it right up the...
Oh! Wow.
Just a little guy.
It's amazing.
During filming, our focus on the tree attracted the attention of other hikers, who were curious to see what we had found. Then, strangely, for the second time that day, a bison male was walking in our direction.
Yeah, we better get moving.
Filming stopped, and we grabbed our tripods with cameras still attached, giving him the space he needed. Realizing that he was no threat, we began to film him as he made his way past us. With all the wildlife here in the meadow, it was difficult to move on, but the hour was getting late, and we had another 9 kilometers to go. Finding a trail sign, we confirmed the trail and the distance. At this spot a couple of years ago, I came face to face with a male bison. I walked up this small ridge, and we met with 10 feet between us. Without thinking, the bison ran back down the trail at a high speed that really surprised me. A happy ending. Coming into a thick forest, we found ourselves immersed in a different kind of wildlife, and one that was more relaxing, providing you don't eat them. We also found some pretty large mushrooms here as well. This is my favorite plant, called the Indian pipe or ghost plant. We also found another very large mushroom. Finding a trail map, we made our way back to the trailhead after a great hike. Our final hike took place in early August along Shoreline Trail. Despite its 6-kilometer length, we specifically aimed for a place called Elk Island, which is a shorter hike. The trail winds through a mixed wood forest and wetlands, all while skirting the shores of a Stoughton Lake. Entering through the gate, we began our hike. Finding some mallard ducks sunning themselves in the early morning light, we stopped for a moment. Their tranquil presence added a nice touch to the morning stroll. We then stopped to watch this squirrel, showing off extreme acrobatics and dexterity. His prize? A tasty rosehip. An example shown here. Continuing along, we found the ever-present red chairs, again set out to witness a beautiful view. Coming to a clearing, we noticed a group of paddlers on the lake. There is a place near Stoughton Lake's main campground where you can rent them. We then took a moment to look around and see what discoveries we could find along the shore. With such a relaxing place, we found it difficult to move on to Elk Island, but we soon would be rewarded. Arriving at the island's land bridge, we noticed that a beaver had neatly trimmed some trees near the water's edge. We were also greeted by 2 park volunteers who contribute their time to habitat protection efforts. Rounding the island's trail, we came upon the paddlers seen earlier. I learned that squirrels will put mushrooms in a tree to dry, which preserves them for winter storage. Continuing our hike, we found a path through a beautiful forest of flowers. Another mushroom out for drying, this time not in a pine tree though. I wonder if it's ready. Walking back to the start, we completed the trail and our summer hikes for 2023. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more Els Adventures content.